contract with them. They'll have other space because they'll have finally gotten out from underneath Joakim Noah's disgusting contract.
The odious
disgusting contract.
Disgusting.
Okay.
And they'll have young guys, the two young guys from the drafts. You have Porzingis, who will be completely healthy by that time that season comes around because he'll have been off his feet for 15 months, not jumping off boats in Ibiza with beautiful model girlfriend.
I was going to say, he's doing water therapy.
Yes, if you call jumping off a yacht into water in Ibiza, water therapy, God bless. I will tear my ACL just to do that kind of water therapy.
All right, well, explain this to me, though, how the Knicks are going to have the financial space to do this.
Porzingis will be extension eligible, so by then he'll probably be making between $25 and $35 million.
He'll get a max deal because they have to give him a max deal.
Now, the salary cap is going to continue to rise.
Of course.
The Knicks are not... By then, I believe Tim Hardaway Jr.'s deal will be over, or he'll have 1 year left, and it'll be easy to ship him out.
I think it'll be 1 year left because this was his second year.
They'll be eligible to just ship him out.
Yeah,
and they have no problem.
It was a 4-year, $72 million deal. So,
no more Joakim Noah. Enes Kanter, even if he does resign with the Knicks, would probably be a short-term deal because he'd want to continuously cash in on all that money that's going around. And then after that, what major money holes did the Knicks have? Think about it. They have.
Yeah, but I don't know that you can just look at it that way because the NBA salary structure and is a very strange animal.
And then Kyrie says, Kawhi, look, you want to come? Join us. Look at this team. Me, you, Porzingis, potentially
and
next year. Next year's draft picks.
They got a bunch of point guards.
Potentially Zion Williamson next year. Just like one of Cam Reddish, Zion Williamson. Essentially anyone who's going to Duke.
You're gonna
next year Duke has 4 of the top 10.
Yeah, but you're gonna need a top 5 pick to get those.
The Knicks are going
top 3 pick.
Actually, you could have, and this is how stacked next year's NBA draft is. You can have the number 10 pick and get someone who, in a draft like this, would be a top 5.
Okay,
that's how good next year's college class is. Now, we always have that. We always have great college classes. We just don't until they get in, or high school classes essentially, and we don't really know how they play until they get to college, start playing. So some of these guys, you always have that. There's always years where you look and you go, the number 2 player in that class, or number 1 even, they don't do as well. Nerlens Noel and Shabazz Muhammad all year long were the number 1, number 2, and look where the 2 of them are.
Oof,
Nerlens Noel went 6 and was immediately traded. Shabazz Muhammad, I believe, went 15, and he was released this year, and he was picked up by the Bucks, so you never know. But I look at this year's team, and people look at this team, and they just go, and they look at this class, and they just go, wow. It is so absolutely stacked up and down the board. So Kyrie could say to Kawhi, you got me. And look, to be honest, that's all you need. You only need me. And you have Porzingis. And we have possibly Zion Williamson, Cam Reddish, literally anyone else in next year's class. And then we have someone this year. And if the Knicks are not as incompetent as I believe they are.
Ooh, that's a big if.
That's a big if.
They could potentially actually somewhat slightly hit on a pick this year. Realistically, they actually have a shot of bringing in Kyrie and Kawhi next year with free agents, with slots. Because they can show.
Sounds
look,
like Thursday is a really big day.
we got Porzingis who's coming back from an injury. He's going to be healthy. We have someone who we picked last year, who we didn't mess up on the pick, like Frank. We didn't just pick some guy.
You never know what Frank Ntilikina will be at that point either.
I think Ntilikina is going to be eventually a serviceable NBA player. Is he going to be a point guard who can run a team?
He's going to be a 2 guard.
He's not going to be a point guard that can run a team.
He's going to be a bench 2.
Yeah, but better than a bench guy. But not necessarily a guy you want starting. Let's put it that way. But never mind all that. It comes down to the fact that no matter what Ntilikina turns into, more than likely that was a wasted pick.
What do you mean more than likely? It was a wasted pick. And Donovan Mitchell and
all right,
Devin Smith Jr.
Well, more
Dennis Smith Jr.
More Dennis Smith Jr. because that was the guy I thought the Knicks should have picked, and he was also the guy that got picked right after Ntilikina.
Oh yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, 6 other teams passed on Donovan Mitchell before he finally got picked after Ntilikina. So a bunch of other GMs made the same mistake. So that is what it is. But now we're saying, all right, so if Kyrie and Kawhi Leonard both decide, let's just say the scenario comes true. So now you have a starting point guard, you have your starting 4. Where are we putting Kawhi? Small forward, I assume? Or at the 2?
Kawhi at the 2? No.
He can play anywhere, that kid.
I would
then
not.
You have to put him in small forward. So Kawhi's your 3, so you have a 1, a 3, and a 4. So who are you picking at 9?
This year?
This year. So this year, that means you need to pick a 2.
Very good segue.
Because where are you going? If this is the grand plan, then on Thursday the Knicks need to live this grand plan, and they can't pick a 3 because then what are you going to do with that guy once Kawhi shows up? And you're still going to have a hole at the 2. So now you're saying that the Knicks, because I'm not even throwing a 5 out there because the only 2 decent 5s are going to be gone before the Knicks pick. All right, so
potentially, because some people consider Wendell Carter out of Duke a
Wendell
power forward
Carter,
slash center.
as much as I hate Duke, I would love it if he fell to the Knicks.
Yeah, look, if you want to talk about a center right there, but you said you said shooting guard. So let me tell you about my man, Lonnie Walker. This man
at number 9,
Lonnie Walker at number 9, and that's actually not the craziest thing I've seen. I've seen projections with Lonnie Walker going even higher than that.
Really?
Right now, I'm looking at a projection from Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report's latest mock draft has
who did the mock? Give me a name. Is there a name attached to it? They're probably not, because Bleacher Report doesn't do that.
Yes,
because
they're so ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
Bleacher Report,
can I tell you, some college kid did that draft. All right. No offense to college kids, I love you guys, but come on.
This is something I pulled off of Bleacher Report. Philadelphia 76ers, Lonnie Walker at number 10. That's one. Let's see, Lonnie Walker. Where does he fall in another one from Draft Site? They have Lonnie Walker falling to 15.
All right, but then I'm saying, why pick him at 9?
Why pick Lonnie Walker? Because as a UNC fan, and you're a Maryland fan, so Maryland not in the same conference anymore.
Not anymore.
But you see what Jim Larinaga does with players in Miami.
And he's done a nice job.
And he's produced random, really great players. Random. Really random. Like Shane Larkin did amazing in college, and then essentially flamed out.
Yeah, but I mean, let's face it, Shane Larkin was never going to be a good pro. Good college player. You look at somebody like Jalen Brunson. Is he going to be a good pro? I don't think so. But hell of a college player.
Now, by the way,
great college player.
I saw 4 mocks today that had Jalen Brunson going to my Brooklyn Nets, and I was like, no, please don't. At number 29. Now, here's what's going on. The Knicks.
I'm trying to remember who's playing a point for them now.
Who? The Nets?
Yeah,
D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, they have Russell
and Jeremy Lin.
Yeah, Jeremy Lin. Yeah. Isn't his contract over?
No, he's got 1 more year left.
Yeah.
Please don't ship Jeremy Lin out just yet.
He's got 1 more injury left.
What was his injury? His haircut? I'm not sure.
Kyle, don't knock Jeremy Lin's hair. He's got cooler hair than you do.
All right.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. So I can't even imagine or understand why they would draft Jalen Brunson if D'Angelo Russell is obviously going to get 35 minutes a night. There's no point in drafting Jalen Brunson at that spot.
Look, it definitely varies all across the board. I've seen Gary Trent. I've seen someone who I desperately do not want to be picked by the Nets, Grayson Allen at 29.
Oof.
I've seen some very interesting things going on.
That's who the Knicks are going to pick at 9.
What?
Grayson Allen?
Oh,
yeah.
no.
If the Knicks pick Grayson Allen,
the Knicks select Ted Cruz.
Don't even say that.
If the Knicks select Grayson Allen at number 9. I don't even...
They're probably sitting there.
Mike Krzyzewski should get a 19-year, billion-dollar extension if Grayson Allen is picked
I might explode.
That's not possible.
The Knicks are over there thinking, we're doing something that no one else is thinking about right now.
A lot of times there's reasons why people aren't thinking about it.
Okay.
That's one of them.
Look, they could potentially select Lonnie Walker. I would like to pick... People are not exactly so fond of Lonnie Walker, but I actually love Lonnie Walker. There is a possibility, and it pains me to say this, there's a possibility that Luka Doncic slips from 2 and can go all the way to 4 or 5.
Okay.
And speaking of 4...
That's possible, but...
Here's what happens with the 4 pick. Memphis Grizzlies are trying to get out from underneath Chandler Parsons' 2-year, $50 million contract left. And they're willing to trade the number 4 pick
Right.
if you take on Chandler Parsons. Now, this throws a massive wrench in what I was talking about with the Knicks bringing in Kawhi.
I was about to bring that up.
Oh, but it throws the biggest wrench because then you have $25 million on a guy who went from being the best contract in the NBA when he was getting $845,000. Excuse me.
There you go.
$845,000 playing for the Houston Rockets, and then 3 years later, he's the worst contract in the NBA. So that throws a massive wrench. But as a side note, to the Knicks, and by the way, this smells like Sean Marks written all over it, and the Nets. Do the Knicks or Nets call the Grizzlies and say, hey, Doncic is at 4, or whoever has dropped to 4, we'll take 2 years, $50 million of Chandler Parsons. I don't care. It's worth it. And we'll take a player like this. Now, it makes more sense for the Nets. The Nets haven't had a high draft pick in, I don't know, long time. That's just what it is.
Because the Celtics had them all.
Celtics have had them all. Absolutely, every single one of them. All of them.
Yes.
Do the Nets, please do, Sean Marks, call the Memphis Grizzlies and say, we will take Chandler Parsons and the number 4 pick, and the Nets would probably have to give up number 29, which isn't a lot.
Yeah,
Memphis wants to get out from Chandler Parsons. The Knicks wouldn't have to. If they ask for number 9, I say go to hell. But Knicks, who they give up, they could potentially just give up Enes Kanter. Either way, they need to match the salary, so that's going to have to happen.
Right. But the thing that I'm looking at is, are they going to give up Doncic to get that done? Do you give up that kind of talent just to get out from a contract? That's the sure way.
Yeah.
That's the sure way to make sure that you're in the lottery for the next 10 years.
Well, by the way, remember Darko Milicic?
I do.
Do you remember who he actually was supposed to be picked by?
I'm trying to remember what that draft was like that year.
Detroit was not supposed to have that selection. That selection actually belonged to
probably the Knicks.
The Vancouver Grizzlies.
Oh, there you go.
The Vancouver Grizzlies.
Back when they were in Vancouver.
But they had traded the pick a year earlier with, no one did protections back then. There's no such thing as a protection. Traded it, and all of a sudden, the Detroit Pistons select Darko Milicic, and in Darko's rookie year, they win the NBA Finals. So
it was a Joe Dumars pick, if I remember correctly.
There are, he had some hits and some really bad misses.
Yes,
but there are times where trades and things don't work out, and they do work out. But in this specific situation, this is essentially a catch-22. They want to start to rebuild a little bit. They need to get rid of Chandler Parsons' contract, but then they also still have Marc Gasol, and they still have Mike Conley's absolutely massive contract. But if you keep Chandler Parsons, you keep the 4 pick, and you inject some youth into there, so the youth learns from the veterans, and then slowly, as you phase them out, you have the youth roll in. If you trade away Chandler Parsons, you still have the old guys with some of the money, but you've just gotten rid of some of the money. So what do you do?
No. I will always keep that pick, that level of pick. I will not give that away. Not to get out from a 2-year if Chandler Parsons had 6 more years left on his contract, then maybe I'll do that.
This isn't the old NBA.
I'm not giving up a talent like Luka Doncic is supposed to be to get out from 2 years.
Have you ever watched him play?
I've seen highlights on YouTube and
which, by the way, is a very big thing. Like I've never seen him in person, but watch a actual Real Madrid game versus Luka Doncic highlights. They're very different because highlights are the best.
Yeah,
watch him.
Everybody's good in highlights.
Watch him at his full potential. It's still very fun to watch. Mm-hmm. I have watched on YouTube or on Facebook. You can watch old Real Madrid games, and it's very fun to watch. He is someone who. Look, it's definitely going to be an adjustment for him because coming from Europe to here, there is always a difference in talent and play. But it's going to be fun to watch and watch him grow. I think it would help, actually, if Memphis kept the pick because you have Doncic, who's coming in from Slovenia, and you add him into a locker room that already has Gasol, who came in from Spain many years ago. So you have an international player.
Right.
But it would be also great if Memphis traded the pick to the Nets gave up the 29th overall selection. They brought in another guy like Chandler Parsons, and as we've seen in the past, they've brought in people, bad contracts, and turned them around. And when we